On the news tonight, President Tinubu sets for 2023 G20 summit in India. FCT minister solicits support from National Assembly in budgetary allocation. And corps members deployed for primary assignment urged to be diligent in their service year. Good evening and welcome to the 7 p.m. news on NTA Channel 5, the Unity Station. My name is Aisha Oba Ali. Let's begin with appointments. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of mandate secretaries for the Federal Capital Territory. The appointees are Mr. Bitrus Garki, Secretary Area Council Services Secretariat, Lawan Kolo Gaidam, Secretary Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat, Mr. Danlami Iyayo, Secretary Education, Dr. Adedolakbo Fasawi, Secretary Health and Human Services Secretariat, Barrister Salman Dako, Secretary Legal Services Secretariat, Barrister Chinedum Elechi, Secretary Economic Planning, Revenue Generation and PPP, Architect Uboko Tom Inya, Secretary Transportation Secretariat, Alhaji Muttari Abdulkader, Secretary Social Development. The swearing-in ceremony is scheduled to hold Tuesday, 12th of September 2023 at the International Conference Center, Abuja, at 12 noon. Appointees and their guests are expected to be seated by 11:30 a.m. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in New Delhi, India to attend the G20 Leadership Summit on the special invitation of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Nigerian 001 presidential air fleet landed in New Delhi at about 6 p.m. local time. The president's itinerary in India will include bilateral meetings with a cross-section of world leaders from 4 different continents representing both G20 and non-G20 countries. These engagements are geared towards strengthening bilateral economic, trade and investment partnerships for mutual benefit. On the sidelines of the summit, the president will participate in and deliver keynote addresses at both the Nigerian-India Presidential Roundtable and the Nigerian-India Business Conference. The CEO Roundtable will be attended by leading industrialists in the Indian private sector, Nigerian industrialists, as well as senior government officials from both countries. The president aims to leverage this platform to attract global capital and promote increased foreign direct investment in key labor-intensive sectors of Nigeria's economy for job creation and revenue expansion. We also use the opportunity to highlight Nigeria's attractiveness as an investment destination, specifically outlining his cross-sectoral reform plan as escalated by the Renewed Hope agenda. President Tinubu is to return immediately after the conclusion of the summit. And back home, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has solicited the support of the National Assembly in providing adequate budgetary allocation to the FCT to enable his administration to turn around critical infrastructure in the territory. The minister made the appeal when he received in audience members of the ad hoc committee investigating failure of mass transport system in the country. Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
The House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee is saddled with the responsibility of investigating the failure of mass transit scheme in Nigeria from 1999 till date. Using the nation's capital as a case study, leader of the delegation, Afam Victor Ogene, says the huge government investment on transportation has not paid off, especially now that the removal of fuel subsidy is taking a toll on the resident, hence the need for collaboration to ensure organized transportation system in the country.
In between 2002, 2012 and 2014, we invested 16 billion naira under the Shopee program. Most of those funds were given out through the infrastructure bank to certain operators. From our findings so far, only 2 has fully paid, and we are trying to ask questions. What happened to the rest?
FCT Minister Nyesom Wike says the truth must be told. The budgetary allocation and the releases from the National Assembly to overhaul the critical infrastructure in the FCT is poor, despite the administration having the capacity to turn things around for the better.
Our budgeting system is too poor. The national budget of FCT 15 billion naira for 2023. 1 billion naira has been released. So when you say why is their own system not working, how will it work? How will Lagos not work? Because Lagos sees it as a priority. And Lagos want to commit money to it. So believe that by the time everybody's on board, then we'll start fully, because you need people to be in charge of this various, particularly this transport is very, very key.
The minister was also quick to admit that there is a systemic problem that needs to be addressed, saying that henceforth all projects will be tied to the internally generated revenue. Nyesom Wike, however, disclosed that in 8 months' time, Metro Line will come to reality. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Again, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has pledged to strengthen healthcare delivery services in all the hospitals. The minister made the pledge during a meeting with medical unions in his office in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu has the details.
This meeting between the FCT minister and the medical unions is coming on the heels of the federal government circular of 8 years tenure retirement for directors cadre. Chairman of Nigeria Medical Association FCT chapter Dr. Ugwanyi Charles and other union leaders solicit the support of the FCT minister in addressing the lacuna the circular might create in the health sector.
Let me submit at this point by harping on the overall implication of this exercise on not only the medical doctors but also the expanding Abuja population. The Capital Territory Administration happened to have a very strange interpretation of a very straightforward formula from the federal government.
I would implore all of you to please still temper, whatever it is, to what we have to offer.
FCT minister represented by the Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mahamood, assures that the administration will study the backup documents for medical doctors with a view to addressing the issue of concern.
None of our other hospitals has released this circular or even implemented it in any of the other federal hospitals. So these are things that we need to have a clarification, and for us to come with a final solution to this problem, we have to include other stakeholders. We don't know what happened, whether they have the letter or they don't have. The Ministry of Health has to tell us more about it.
Statistics indicate that people from the neighboring Nasarawa and Niger states, as well as other contiguous states, come to the FCT to access medical care. To this end, stakeholders say it has become imperative for urgent action to be taken to put this matter to rest. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
The Joint Task Force team, including the Command and Control Unit of the FCDA, has rid the popular Galadima junction of indiscriminate display of goods, motor parks, drug on peak, as well as hawkers. This, the task force team leader says, has been a security threat to residents of the area. The report.
With the marching order by the FCT minister to rid the Federal Capital Territory of all security threats and other nuisances, the Command and Control Unit of the FCTA has visited the popular Galadimawa Junction to rid traders and commuters of the area. Secretary, Command and Control Unit Peter Olumoje says reports reaching them says mostly at night they find it difficult to pass through the area.
We've been able to clear the Kabusa Junction, and we've been able to come here also to clear Galadima roundabout, which is going to be sustained. And measures are being in place here to ensure orderliness, because where there is no orderliness, there's always chaos and there's always criminal activities going on. We are also trying to make sure that those criminal activities, especially the drug dealing and usage.
Director, Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, was also part of the task force. He says all shanties around will be brought down, as most of them are causing havoc.
Madam, we want to be more innovative, not that we're just killing the place and go. We want to retain the people that are using here, but we will organize them in a very planned manner, so that they can help us to maintain the sanity of this place.
The task force on city sanitation, with the command and control unit leader of the FCTA, says they will not relent to bring down all shanties, as well as crushing Okada for breaking the FCT laws. Hawagimba, NTA News.
And to labor matters, the nationwide warning strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress commenced today, 5th September 2023. Hakimat Ali went round some offices and government establishments earlier in the day for the situation report.
At Radio House, Abuja, affiliate union members of the NLC manned the gate, chanting the Solidarity song.
Which we've been directed to observe by the NLC.
Getting to the gate, they couldn't allow us to enter. We saw a union member. They said today, didn't we hear that today is a starting day of the warning strike?
At the Abuja Municipal Area Council Secretariat, the gate was barricaded with the union vehicle.
We told them our demand of a palliative to cushion the effect of this subsidy.
The situation was not different at the Federal Secretariat, where the gate was locked and no one was allowed entry.
Labour member came to tell us to come out of the secretariat, that they are about to lock the secretariat, that we should not stay inside, so all of us will rush outside.
Well, I just came to work and noticed that it's closed. Like, even before coming to work, I waited for a while because I was not really sure about the strike, if it's going to hold.
This action has no doubt left this place a shadow of itself. While many express disappointment having spent money on transportation to work and not allowed access in, others are indifferent as they believe the action will yield desired results, while many others believe the government and the union need to urgently come to an agreement to forestall further strike actions. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
National Youth Service Corps members have been advised to be patriotic Nigerians and display good conduct, character, and ensure positive impact at their place of primary assignments. The advice was at the NYSC closing ceremony for 2023 Batch B Stream 2 sessions. Wayne Dogo has the report.
Kitted in their service khaki, about 3,920 corps members of the Batch B Stream 2 corps members concluded their 2023 orientation program. In her address, FCT Minister of State Maria Mahmood urged the corps members to continue to put in their best during their service year and never give up, as Nigeria is counting on them to be good ambassadors.
I therefore urge you to be our good ambassadors of the scheme to keep the flag flying.
The corps members have been posted to their places of primary assignment, where they are expected to contribute to the development of society throughout their service year and beyond.
And we taught our young men how to appear to be men indeed. And by the time we all came in, we saw that all of us were looking the same, like children of the same parents. So it was easy to mold them and guide them. And there was no time we condoned any act of indiscipline.
What I'm just hoping for is to get their reports and continue with the next phase of my life.
But nothing good comes easy.
Highlights of the program were a march parade by various platoons. In Abuja, Wayne Dogo, NTA News.
Poverty exists in most countries around the world, from developing nations to developed countries, affecting millions of people, regardless of their social and cultural status. Meanwhile, charitable actions by individuals and organizations have continued to help fill the void caused by these problems. As the world celebrates these charitable activities, Charity Zaga looks at the need to be charitable. The report.
In recognition of the significant role that charity organizations and individuals have undertaken to alleviate human suffering and humanitarian crisis, the United Nations General Assembly has designated the 5th of September as the International Day of Charity. This date was chosen as it is the anniversary of the death of Mother Teresa, and the resolution is in part a tribute to her work and dedication to charitable causes. The art of charity helps to reduce the burden of social and economic crisis. It supplements public services in healthcare, education, housing, and child protection. It promotes a healthy way of life and the preservation of cultural and natural heritage.
On this day, I want to encourage everybody to cultivate the attitude of giving.
In Nigeria, diverse groups and individuals have been contributing to a charitable cause, directly or indirectly, in the little possible way they can, enhancing the lives of people.
I started with Almajiris. I started giving them something, started giving them, started encouraging them. From there, I just decided to make this thing official and start helping them.
Anybody that put his hand in supporting the next privilege, you know what it means. It will even encourage and makes the government to be more stronger.
As a church, we need a more strategic approach to charity. We should start looking more towards approaches that will lift people out of poverty and then make them become less dependent on handouts.
Charity is under helping, assisting people. So we have it in the Quran where Allah talks about it. Allah says, Sadaqah is meant for the poor among you.
Theme of the International Day of Charity this year is Global Solidarity to Eradicate Poverty. Charity Zaga, NTA News.
Up next is Sports Brief.
Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro has arrived Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, ahead of the African Cup of Nations qualifying games against Sao Tome and Principe, scheduled for Sunday. Jose Peseiro, who arrived camp with 2 of his assistants, is optimistic of good outing for his team. Nigeria beat Sao Tome 10-0 in the first leg in Morocco. Meanwhile, as at the time of filing this report, the newly invited Super Eagles players Victor Boniface and Gift Orban have arrived Nigeria for the Sunday game. Still on the Nations Cup, the final qualifier for the African Cup of Nations will commence on Wednesday, with Libya playing against Equatorial Guinea in Group J. 15 teams have so far booked their places at the tournament,